as I'm sure a lot of people know by now, it's not news that anymore that Dwayne Haskins has been cut by the Washington football team. But what I wanted to talk about was what went wrong, why did this happen, and kind of what I think Dwayne Haskins' future is in the NFL. And when we look at Haskins, I think the biggest failure to him was the Washington football team. You know, he was selected 15th overall in the 2019 NFL draft. He was rumored, he was my number one rated quarterback in that draft class. I had him and then Kyler Murray. Their grades were very similar. I just thought he was just had better, he was more refined as a passer. And my biggest concern about him going forward was the mental side of the game. There was timing, his touch and his timing could have gotten a little bit better. I thought he could have done maybe a little bit better job of reading defenses. And when I was evaluating him for that draft, I liked him a lot, and I thought he was a guy that was worthy of a first-round pick. But I thought he would be better off going back to college, back to Ohio State for another year. I mean, he was only a redshirt sophomore when he declared. So I thought, go back for another year, get another year of seasoning. When guys leave early, if it's like physical traits are the thing holding them back, I don't blame them for leaving. But when they can continue to improve maybe their technique, maybe improve the mental side of the game and refine those things, that's when I think they're better off going back. And with Dwayne Haskins, I thought, hey, if he goes back and puts up another strong year, he'd only been a one-year starter. So if he would have gone back and had one more year as a starter and continued to progress the way he was progressing, I thought he was going to be a lock, top 10 overall pick. But he declared, I don't blame him. He was one of the top quarterbacks taken in that draft class. I think he was the third quarterback taken. He was a top 15 pick. You don't blame the guy. But Washington, I don't want to say did him dirty, but Washington is equal to blame in this situation. When we look at the Washington football team, this was a pick that Daniel Snyder made. All the talk in that draft was Daniel Jones getting drafted 6th overall, and everyone's like, the Giants, what are you doing? Why do you take him 6th overall and not 17th, where you had that 2nd or 19th, one of the two, where you had that second first-round pick? Well, but they were worried that one of the teams that could draft him was the Washington football team because their coaching staff, Jay Gruden and the coaching staff, really liked Daniel Jones. But it was Daniel Snyder that liked Haskins. It's been well reported that Haskins played at the same high school that Daniel Snyder's kids did. He was from Washington, so on and so forth. So Snyder pushed Haskins onto the coaching staff that didn't like him and asserted his will. And once again, you're drafting a guy to a team where the coaching staff doesn't believe in him. How is he set up to have success with a franchise with coaching staff that doesn't believe in him? And Jay Gruden and that staff ended up getting fired. Haskins didn't really play much until the end of the season. And even then, there was reports of teammates not being a big fan of him. Then Ron Rivera and his coaching staff came in, and one of the first things that they did was they went out and looked at other quarterbacks. They brought in Joe Burrow. They brought in Tua Tagovailoa, so on and so forth. So you clearly saw there that this new coaching staff wasn't a big fan of Ron Rivera. Okay, so now you've had two coaching staffs that weren't a big fan of Dwayne Haskins. So how much is he set up to have success? Well, he didn't do any favors to himself. He had lots of off-the-field issues, and that caused him to get benched, caused him to get cut, and now he's a free agent. I don't think he's done in the NFL. I know some people were quick to say, oh, he's done in the NFL. He's not done. Hey, there's already reports of other teams looking at him. Carolina Panthers have already shown some interest. I think he'd be a good fit somewhere. He needs to go be a backup, learn, and develop under someone who wants to develop him. And I think there's enough teams out there. He's got the talent. He's not an untalented player. So I think there's a spot out there for him. I can't wait to see where it is. If it's Carolina, I think that'd be a great fit. Learn under Joe Brady. I think his skill set of his passing traits would be a good fit within that offense. And so I hope he goes there. And I hope he goes there, learns from Teddy Bridgewater. If one of the issues is Dwayne Haskins' maturity and professionalism, he's going to learn that from Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater, that's one of his strongest traits, is he knows how to be a leader. and I think that could rub off onto Dwayne Haskins quite a bit. So